Hello fellow compounders, welcome back. In previous videos, we showed how easy it is to build a multi-million retirement portfolio if you have 40 years to compound your investments. However, I received many comments from investors in their 40s asking what to do if they're starting to invest later in life and don't have that 40-year runway of someone in their 20s. Today, we're diving into an intriguing scenario. Meet James and Emma Taylor, a hypothetical couple in their late 40s looking to retire in 20 years. But starting from scratch. Your only son has just graduated from college and has left the nest, and they have just gotten around thinking about retirement. Emma is a grade school teacher and James is a postman in New York City. Between both of them, they earn $120,000 per year. After taxes, their take-home pay is about $72,000. James and Emma have been juggling the cost of city living and the expenses of raising a child. Their financial journey has been one of careful budgeting and prioritizing immediate needs, often at the expense of long-term retirement planning. So let's get started.
This video is for educational purposes only and should not be considered financial advice. I am not your financial advisor and you are responsible for your own financial decisions.
Both are 47 years old. With their son Michael having recently graduated from college, James and Emma are at a turning point. They recognize the pressing need to focus on their retirement. With about 20 years left until their expected retirement age of 67, they need to start making serious financial decisions. They bought an apartment in 2010 for $300,000 that is now worth $600,000. Their mortgage payment, including taxes and insurance, is around $2,000 a month, and the balance on their mortgage is $200,000. They have $400,000 of equity in their home. They don't have any credit card debt. First, let's look at traditional retirement savings plan. This plan is about building a substantial nest egg sufficient to cover expenses without touching the principal. We're assuming an annual return of 9% on their investments. The traditional retirement calculation is as follows. Number one, estimate the expenses at retirement. The Taylor's annual budget is $72,000 today. We'll assume that to keep the same lifestyle, they'll keep the same budget, adjusted for inflation, of course. Assuming inflation is at 2.5% average, means that in 20 years, they'll need about $118,000 per year. So here we see $72,000 annual expenses, 20 years at 2.5%. That gives us close to $118,000 per year. Second, we need to calculate the amount needed from the retirement, which means after accounting for the Social Security benefits. In the Taylor's case, they expect to have about $44,000 a year after taxes from their Social Security benefits. That means that they'll need about $74,000 from their retirement savings. That's $118,000 minus the $44,000 gives us around $74,000 that they'll need. Number three, decide on the withdrawal rate. We'll use 4%. See my video on how to calculate the safe withdrawal rate. Here's the link. Number four, calculate the amount needed to retire. We take the annual amount, $74,000, which is right here, and we divide it by the 4%, giving us a result of $1,851,906. That's what they'll need to retire, assuming these scenario. Number five, next we calculate how much they need to save annually to accumulate that $1.85 million, assuming that they can realize a 9% return on their investment. The 9% is about the average return expected from the S&P 500. The result that they'll get is that they'll need around $36,000 per year, which is the same as $2,777 or $73 a month. For the Taylors, saving $36,000 a year is very challenging. This is about half, 50% of their annual income, which is currently $72,000 after taxes. So they don't think that they'll be able to do it. They're considering these alternatives. Number one, lower the cost of living requirement by moving to a city with lower costs. They estimate that they could lower their cost of living by 20% by moving to a different state, like Florida or Texas. They could also consider moving to a different country like Portugal or Mexico. Number two, they're considering selling their apartment and rolling the $400,000 they have in equity into a new dwelling wherever they move to, Florida or Texas. And they are hoping to pay the house in full and have no debt. This move will free up about $20,000 per year to contribute to their retirement savings. And number three, adopt a spend down plan. They will fund their retirement fund with enough money to die with zero. This means modeling a portfolio that would be depleted fully by the time both of them die. Let's analyze the impact of each of these alternatives. Let's look at their plan and their key assumptions. Assumption number one, They believe that they can relocate to the suburbs of Houston, Texas and get similar paying jobs. Assumption 2, their cost of living is 20% less than what they have currently in New York City. And taxes are lower because Texas doesn't have income state tax. Number 3, they can buy a house with $400,000 they have from selling their Brooklyn condo, and they will have no debt. This will give them $20,000 per year to add to their retirement fund. Number 4, during the accumulation phase, they expect a 9% annual return by investing in the S&P 500. In the distribution phase, they will change the mix to include a more fixed income securities. Therefore, the expected return in the distribution phase will be around 6%. Number 5, they assume that the inflation throughout their lifetime will average around 2.5%. And number 6, withdrawals will be adjusted for inflation. Now let's take a look at the results. Their adjusted estimated annual expenses under this scenario is $94,000. Okay, they still expect to get around $44,000 from Social Security. That means that they'll need from their retirement savings around $50,000 per year. At a 4% withdrawal rate, they'll need a $1.262 or $1.26 million, around $250,000 to retire. This means that they'll need to save close to $25,000 per year in order to accomplish this the traditional way. This is more doable than the $36,000 per year. They already have $20,000 instant savings because they don't have the mortgage payments on the house. Therefore, they'll need to save around $5,000 per year, which is about $417 a month, an achievable goal. If they decided to die with zero, in our case, our model is they can live up to 106 years old, they will need $1,065,000 to accomplish this. This is around $200,000 less, which means that they will only need to invest $20,833 per year to accomplish their retirement goal. This is also very achievable since they already have $20,000 freed up from their mortgage payments. This means they'll need to save $833 a year, which is $69 a month. A key assumption is, of course, that they will not live past the age of 106. They figured that it was very unlikely that they will live past 100 since none of their parents or grandparents live past the age of 92. What are the key variables James and Emma can control? They can control their annual savings rate, the investment return rate, more or less, their retirement age, and their retirement lifestyle. Each of these choices have a profound impact on their retirement planning. After reviewing the plan with their financial advisor, they feel confident that they'll be able to retire in 20 years with over $1 million and be able to maintain their lifestyle. Let me recap the three options that the tailors have. Option 1, which is the traditional retirement option, they have to, in order to retire at age 67 in 20 years, they need to save annually around $36,000. And to retire, they will need a $1.85 million. The second option they were considering is also traditional, which is moving to Texas, selling their home, and buying the home cash and not having the debt. That frees up $20,000 a year. And under this scenario, to retire, they need $1.25 million, $1.25 million. So for that option, they need to save $24,669 a year, and also it's the traditional. The option 3, which they decided to go with, is to die with zero. That means to deplete their capital by the time they pass away. So in that case, they'll need $20,833 a year in order to accumulate $1,065,000 and change at age 67. And under this scenario, one important thing is that they only have 40 years of retirement funds. That means that they can live comfortably up to 106 years old. After that, there's not enough money. So that's the quick summary. Here's my take on it. I strongly agree with the move to a lower cost location and buying their house outright with no debt. 2, the difference between dying with zero and the traditional option is around $4,000. At the end, the actual calculation comes out to be about $348 per month. I would highly suggest, if it were me, I would prefer going the traditional route where I don't have the cap of 40 years of money to live off. Because who knows, maybe medical technology improves so much that by then the average lifespan is 110 years old. You never know. And 3, I would suggest stress testing the portfolio outcomes using a Monte Carlo simulation. So there you have it, a retirement plan for a 47-year-old couple where they're starting to save now and they have 20 years to retire. Thanks for watching. Remember to always be compounding. See you in the next video. Take care.